Do you smell what the JHow's cooking? What's going on, everybody? JHow here for the premiere of the Roundtable discussion for Diablo 3. In this Roundtable, we're going to discuss some upcoming changes with patch 2.2.0, and joining me is Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Hi.
We've got Dave here, aka Dark Dave.
Hello.
And we've got the familiar face with Bandit from Bandit Gaming.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so we've got everybody here, and if you don't know what the roundtable discussion is yet, then get used to it. There's going to be a segment that I'm going to be doing on and off, and I'm inviting all the different members of the community to join me. And so going forward with different changes and different conversations, I'm going to be inviting you all in to take these spots and join me in discussion. And today, like I said, we're going to be talking about patch 2.2.0, which is set to be released a week from this video in a few days. And so some of these things are subject to possibly change a little bit, but we have a really good idea of what's going on. And so we'll talk about a few of the regular game changes first, then we're going to get into the important part that everybody's excited about, is the enormous amount of class changes, set changes, and a few minor skill changes to get everybody excited. Now, to cover a few small things, one of the things that's going to be changing in terms of like quality of life changes in the game is stuff like picking up items, crafting materials, gems, and also addressing the health potions. The health potions is one of those things to where we all get a legendary health potion, and then eventually you don't need the regular anymore. So, Nathan, what's going on with the health potions?
They're just changing it to where you have a regular bottomless potion, and then when you find your first legendary, you can start using that. But the regular health potions will not be dropped no more. Thank you, Jesus.
So I don't have to have a stack of 1,000 health potions to sell for like 200 gold anymore?
No, sir.
That's awesome. If you guys saw the video with me and Dave where we found a pack of treasure goblins shortly after patch 2.1.2 hit, you'll know that a lot of stuff drops from those. And so one of the problems is that you click hours and hours on end to pick up all the different items. But they're making it now so that crafting materials and gems are going to be a little bit easier. Dave, do you want to tell us what's going on there?
Well, when you actually click on an object now, it'll pick up a certain radius of items. So you'll save yourself a ridiculous amount of time just by clicking that one object rather than breaking your mouse to pick it all up.
So you can't accuse me of clicking anymore, right?
I still can, but...
I'm going to get you on that one. Next up is a wardrobe that they're adding. For those of you that like to have a repository for whether it be the wings that you've accumulated in various ways or pets that you've added into the game, or a couple of other things that go on with that, you're now going to have a place, instead of worrying about keeping it in your stash or your inventory, you'll now actually be able to keep it in what looks like a mirror in a wardrobe. I believe that's near the Enchantress or the Enchanter in all levels.
Mystic.
And near the Mystic, yes. Enchanter, Mystic. I call it the Enchanter, old school WoW player. I don't know. But it's the Mystic. So you guys know what's going on there. That's going to be something. A few other minor changes. New bounties have entered the game in adventure mode. So if you guys are into doing bounties and stuff like that, you're going to have some new fresh content to play there in all acts. Now, one of the things that I want to know is what gets different people excited. Patch 2.2.0 means something different to me than it probably does to most of you, and that's the joy of these conversations. And so I want to know, Nathan, what are you most excited about for patch 2.2?
Just all the class changes with the the viability of each set being up there with the current top set. We've been pigeonholed into one way of playing for most classes for the longest time.
A lot of diversity coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dave, what about you, my man?
The changes to the wizard, having all those new sets to farm up. Be nice to take that Firebird set off finally.
Dave's a big fan of the wizard, played many, many hours, and when you're stuck playing all fire all the time, I'm sure we're ready for a change. We've been going at that for quite a while.
Not that it's bad, but it gets...
Not that it's bad, but a change is good.
Absolutely.
Bandit, what about you?
A couple things. I started off like Dave. I was a big fan of the Wizard. I switched over to the Demon Hunter. He's probably my favorite character now. So we've got a couple new viable sets coming for that. We've got an Unhallowed Essence, which is a new set coming, and the Natalia's Looks like that'll be a good set to be using as well. And I'm thinking about starting a Barbarian for Season 3, and we'll see how fun that'll be. It looks a lot of fun to use.
Bandit, I want to thank you for that comment, because guess what? It makes an easy segue.
Absolutely.
Nathan, let's get into some of the class changes, because those are pretty big. And before we cover the Barbarian, we're going to work our way through the different classes. So if you want to hear about each of the classes, we're going to cover every single one of them. Nathan plays the Barbarian a lot. But one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick is the set pieces. All your green items that you currently have, keep in mind, all of your set pieces are retroactive. So all of the changes that they're making to the set bonuses are going to be retroactive in the new patch. With the exception of a couple of minor changes to some of the items, they'll still be good, but you're going to find reason to farm up new ones. And, you know, we'll talk about those as they come up. Nathan, why don't you give me an overview on the Barbarian, because there's a lot of huge changes with the Barbarian, but go ahead and give me your thoughts on the IK set and the new changes and the new items and the new set and what we've got going on.
Yeah, the Mortal King set has been around for a while, actually, but it's been redesigned. The 2-piece now makes called it Ancients Last Until They Die. The 4-piece is the Wrath Berserker and Call of the Ancients. For every 10 fear you spend, you reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds. So that, you know, as long as you're managing your resource, you have permanent Wrath of Berserker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's glorious. The 6-piece is while those two are active, you gain an additional 100% increased damage. Couple that with the new bracers, Mortix braces. Wrath Berserker gains the effect of every single rune. That's a lot. If you ever take a look at the Barbarian Wrath Berserker skill, that's a lot of benefit.
And as of this video, Nathan and I were actually talking about that 100% increased damage from the 6-piece. That's down from the original 500% at the beginning of the PTR. We're still both wondering if that's actually going to be buffed up a little bit to kind of bridge that gap. So this is before the actual patch notes. That could be different. That's one of those things you'll want to double check the minute the patch goes live.
Yeah, I expect the Mortal King set to add a lot more different, you know, play styles that are atypical. Hammer of the Ancients, Seismic Slam, Throw Barbs, especially with some of the other changes they've made that we'll talk about in a minute. So I guess we should move on to the
Wrath of the Way set. That's a new one, right?
Yep, that's a new one. That's the Whirlwind set, the Spin to Win. The current version of the best Whirlwind build is pretty lackluster past Torment 6. But for the Whirlwind set, Wrath of the Waste, the 2-set bonus is the damage of Rend gets increased by 500% and the duration increased to 15 seconds. You use that in conjunction with the Whirlwind. The 4-piece is while you're whirlwinding, you take 40% reduced damage because you're in melee range. Stuff hits hard. The 6-piece bonus is very interesting. Whirlwind gains the effect of the Dust Devil's rune, and the damage of Dust Devils is increased to 2,500%. And when Blizzard means something like that, gains the effect of Dust Devil, or a skill gains 1 rune, it's always going to have that rune. So you don't want to select that rune again. It is not going to double it up or anything like that. That will let you select a different rune. Like you want to run the Fire rune, but you'll still get the Dust Devils. So that's what they mean by that.
That's a very, very nice option.
Mm-hmm. And Dust Devils is, especially with the increase in damage and the other increases to the changes of Whirlwind, that's huge.
Did we cover the Skull Grasp already?
No, we haven't.
Skull Grasp. This is one that I think everybody has reason to get excited about if you're going to play a Whirlwind Barbarian. The Skull Grasp has been around a while, but there's an important change. What is that?
It's going to have a new legendary affix, so it means you're going to have to farm it up again. It's going to roll Whirlwind damage by 300 to 400% damage. That's huge. I mean,
that's a huge increase.
That's a huge amount of Whirlwind damage. And I don't know if that affects the Dust Devil's rune, though. I'm not sure. I have to do some testing. I'm sure someone else knows.
It'll be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. They're adding a new legendary affix to the Gavel of Judgment. It's been around for a while. It's legendary two-handed barbarian weapon, a mighty weapon. It now rolls with a 5th primary affix, so you're gonna have to, this is one you're gonna have to find again. That it's gonna roll with Hammer of the Ancients damage, 30 to 40%, depending on the roll. And the legendary affix is when you hit 3 or less enemies with Hammer of the Ancients, you're gonna return 15 to 20 Fury. So you can actually single target an enemy now effectively with Hammer of the Ancients. Really cool changes.
And then the one other item that they're adding is the belt for ground stomp that adds avalanche, right? So every time you ground stomp, you're also casting an avalanche.
Yes, I think that's gonna be very interesting. Casting skills is always kind of fun. But note that's gonna be a season 3 legendary item.
Good point. So basically, what we've covered in the Barbarian is that Spin to Win is back.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to play Hammer of the Ancients.
And Seismic Slam. And
you're able to play Seismic Slam. You're able to incorporate Ground Stomp in there to get Avalanche. So you're telling me that I no longer have to just, dash into everything and go full Juggernaut mode with Raycore Barb anymore?
No, you don't have to be a pinball machine no more.
That's very good news. That's very, very good news.
Great news to be excited. You'll feel like a barbarian.
Yes, so no longer being stuck, and one of the main things that we've talked about is being pigeonholed into one specific play style. I think that this actually allows different people, if you want to spin, you can spin. If you want to go up and just clobber stuff like the Hulk, you can do that. So I'm pretty excited about the Barbarian changes, and I think quite a few people are.
I believe so.
Moving on, we've got the Crusader, which everybody knows is Bandit's favorite class.
Oh.
Just kidding. Actually, what we've got is a huge change to the Roland set. Bandit, you got those notes up there?
I do, actually.
Why don't you go ahead and let us know what's going on with Roland's? Because I know that you tried to make use of that before in the old...
Yeah, I did. I believe I was in a lobby with you, and I was excited. I was like, I got all my Roland set back when it first dropped, and it wasn't very good at all, so I stopped playing the Crusader. But it's since been redesigned. At your 2-piece set, every use of the Shield Bash and Sweep Attack reduces the cooldown of your laws and defensive skills by 1 second. And then at 4 pieces, your damage bonus is increased from 100% to 500%, and the damage bonus is now multiplicative. And I think that was one of the problems before, was that the damage just wasn't high enough to make it worth using.
They came out with a brand new set and it didn't do anything, right?
Exactly, and that's why I kind of shut my Crusader away in the closet. But then at your 6-piece now, your 6-piece bonus, your attack speed bonus is increased from 20 to 30% per stack. So definitely going to be doing a lot more damage. I've seen some people using it in lobbies that have gotten the proper gear for it, and it really seems like it's going to make the Crusader fun to use.
I think so too. One of the items that they're adding is new bracers, so that when Shield Bash, and I'm reading this now, when Shield Bash hits 3 or less enemies, its damage is increased by 150 to 200%, and 25% of the Wrath cost is refunded. I think that's huge because single target damage is tough on a lot of characters, and that allows you to do single target damage and be able to sustain the Wrath to be able to do it. And I think that's a pretty huge thing going on right there. So that the Roland set seems to be one of those top things that I'm pretty excited about. I'm not sure if the Crusader is what I'm going to hop on first, but it's definitely something I'm going to be giving a try, and definitely looking forward to that one.
Well, I'll definitely let you know, because I do have all my Roland's pieces. I'll probably have to farm up some of those bracers, the Dracon's Lesson, and it looks like there's a new belt too. Slash attacks in all directions. So a lot of things to play with, especially if you have a furnace. A good 2-handed weapon like that, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Best part about the Crusader, you can carry a 2-hander in one hand.
Absolutely.
So that's some stuff to get excited about with the Crusader. If you guys do want to check out a lot of that, I know Bandit does have all the Roland's pieces currently, and I know that there's some stuff that's going to be added there and changed, so you can definitely check all that out on his channel as well. Moving on to probably the most exciting one for a lot of players, Demon Hunter is a very popular character. Bandit, it's his favorite character. It's probably my favorite character, and believe it or not, we actually broke Dave away from his wizard to get started on a Demon Hunter. Dave, you played the Demon Hunter in Season 2, right?
Yeah, it's my new favorite character, actually.
Yeah.
So powerful compared to the wizard.
Very, very powerful. The new wizard does look nice, so we're going to get to that. Dave is going to give us an overview on that, because that's really exciting. Right now we're going to cover the Demon Hunter, which I've been testing out a lot on the PTR myself. I'm really excited about this one because no longer do you have to rely on the Marauders 6-piece build. They've brought a new set. They've reconfigured the Natalia set and made it now a nice 6-piece set. And so there's a lot of huge changes. There seems to be a long list of notes here, and I'll cover those real briefly. I'm going to cover the Natalias, and then I want to get with you guys about the Unhallowed Essence, because that's one that I'm really excited about. No matter what I've run with that one, it seems to be really strong on the PTR. The Natalias, now that was one that if you checked out my channel, you know that that's a video that I did. That's been reconfigured a little bit, but it allows for you to run Reign of Vengeance, and that's a huge skill because there's a lot going on with Reign of Vengeance right now, and there's different ways to be able to proc that effect. The 2-piece, it allows Reign of Vengeance to be cooled, have a 2-second cooldown reduction every time you hit with a primary skill or the first hit each of a resource spending attack. So that's a huge one there to be able to run that. Reign of Vengeance also does more damage when you're on a 4-piece, and then the 6-piece, after casting it, you do 400% increased damage and take 30% reduced damage for the next 6 seconds. That brought back what would be called the Spin to Win Demon Hunter to be able to run strafe. While that's certainly going to be something of a fun build, I'm not sure if that's going to be your top end. I doubt they would come out with the new set, the Unhallowed Essence, just so it could get shown up by the old Natalias. So that's going to be something. One of the items that they have there is the new belt, Crashing Rain. Every time you cast Reign of Vengeance, it summoned a beast that did 3,000 to 4,000% damage. They originally named that Bandit, but they just had to go back and call it Beast.
That's right. Stay beastin'.
So that's a pretty exciting thing. And one of the things that Nathan had alluded to earlier, and what we were talking about, I'm not sure if we 100% covered it, but the new, like your main item, like the Immortal King's Boulder Breaker, you're going to have to farm up a new one of those to get the new 5th affix on that as far as the skill damage, and they're doing that so it kind of almost forces you to want to use the full set instead of some off weapon or something like that that doesn't really fit with the set. The new Natalias, it rolls 20 to 25% Reign of Vengeance as a 5th primary, and that's going to be on there automatically, so that's a nice thing to have. One other item, dropping caltrops when you vault, that's the new Omrin's Chain. I'm still trying to find good use for that. But the Unhallowed Essence is the big one, and who wants to take this one? Because this is one that I'm really excited about, because it seems like no matter what I coupled with the multi-shot, it seemed like this set felt so strong in terms of like finding ways to make this happen. Now, Bandit, I know that you had farmed this up early on. Dave, I'm not sure if you had much of a chance to mess with it, but Bandit, why don't you go ahead and give us an insight on the Unhallowed Essence and what's going on there?
Well, we'll talk about the set bonuses. I'll talk a little bit about what I used with mine, and then I know, JHow, that you've used quite a bit of different gear and everything with your setups.
Shamefully too much.
Yeah, but for your 2-piece set bonus, your generators are going to generate 1 discipline. So your skills like the what is it?
Green Arrow.
Vault,
things like that. Okay, and
Smoke.
then
Yeah, go ahead.
your 4-piece set bonus gain 20% damage reduction and 20% increased damage for 4 seconds if no enemy is within 10 yards of you. So, with a ranged character like the Demon Hunter, this is going to benefit you greatly because you're pretty much supposed to stay back anyways and try not to get too much into the action. So you'll be shooting from a distance there, so that'll help you out. And for your 6-piece set bonus, your generators and multi-shot deal 15% more damage for every point of discipline that you have. So basically, with mine, what I'd use the Elemental Arrow with the Ball Lightning, the Crider shot there. And it did a lot of damage. It kind of reminded me, you bring the Meticulous Bolts back when the Marauders was a real popular build to use there. Just kind of reminded me a lot of that, and it's doing a lot of damage for you.
I think the best part about that is when you look at the 2-piece bonus and look at the 6-piece bonus, to where multi-shot deals more damage for every point of discipline you have, and then you have your 2-piece bonus basically restoring that discipline pool. That's pretty huge, and that's really exciting there. So I think that's just going to be, it's great synergy with that build, and definitely something I'm looking forward to. Like I said, you can't go wrong with coupling any type of skill there when you're running a full Unhallowed Essence set. It's a beautiful thing, and it's one of the most exciting things that I've seen probably second to the wizard.
And
I keep alluding to that. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
And a reason to use the focus and the restraint, too, I believe.
The focus and the restraint.
Never use those any other time, but definitely
now that it's a good time to start keeping those things around. Those received a huge change, and we'll cover that here soon. The clock eye got a change, not worth covering at this moment. The monk has some different things going on as well. They brought back, now the Sun Wukong set is still extremely powerful, but one of the things that they did is that they buffed up the Inna's set so that the Inna set is now something a little bit more viable. But also they brought back the Raiment of Thousand Storms, which is the one where it's now going to utilize Dashing Strike to do a lot of damage. Now I'll just go through the notes here. I know I'm not sure if any of you all are big monk players. I know I've spent a little bit of time on it, but we'll go through here some of the big changes. Innas, now your mystic allies are going to be something worthwhile. They're going to gain the base passive effect of your mantra by 100%. The 6-piece bonus mystic ally casts Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tail Kick, 7-sided strike, and a Wave of Light when you do. So that's kind of neat, especially if you run those with the boots to where you can have 2 mystic allies. You basically have something by your side. And going back to the part to where the weapon actually adds the extra, primary affix on there. Mystic ally on the new Inna's Reach, the weapon, the Diablo there. It's going to roll 20 to 25% mystic ally damage. So that's something to look forward to if you're, if you like playing the monk, if you like being on there and having different sets to play with. The diversity is there. The Raiment of Thousand Storms, that's a huge one because your spirit generators have 25% increased attack speed and currently 300% increased damage. Now, that's pretty neat because you're coupling all this together. They made the set kind of went by the wayside the minute Sun Wukong got buffed. The 4-piece Dashing Strike now spins, and this one's currently at 75, but it also refunds a charge when you use it. So that's kind of neat in the sense there, but the big change is your spirit generators increase the damage of Dashing Strike to currently 12,500% for 6 seconds. That's huge. So that's going to be a neat one. Like I said, it goes hand in hand with the 2-piece bonus there. So if you're a fan of the monk, that's definitely something to get excited about. And that goes with the new bracers as well. Your spirit generators reduce your damage taken by 30 to 40% for 3 seconds. So it encourages you to couple that with the raiment set so that you can actually go out there, use your primary skills, and then turn right around and then use Dashing Strike. And it's just great synergy there.
Now, those bracers are Season 3,
Season 3 only, yes. That's something to keep in mind is that, there's a lot of Season 3 only items that are being coupled with a lot of this stuff. When we talked about the Unhallowed Essence, there's a big change to the Dead Man's Legacy Quiver to where multi-shot now hits twice to enemies that are below 50 to 60%, depending on where you roll health. That's going to be a Season 3 only item as well. So if you're going to get a brand new set like the Unhallowed Essence, you might as well go ahead and do it on the Seasons. You can get that quiver and go and make use of multi-shot there and really do some damage. So they're pushing it so that if you're farming up these new sets, it's also going to make more sense for you to start a new seasonal character because you're going to start all over. Plus you have that extra item that really boosts it by going that way. The Witch Doctor. Bandit got himself a Witch Doctor, and he got himself a star medal pretty early on. Pretty lucky guy there. I'm still farming. I'm almost at 300 hours on my Witch Doctor alone, and star medals are something I dream about.
Same with me in the furnace, yes.
Same with you in the furnace. I've had a handful of furnaces, but I think star medal is far more elusive. But the Witch Doctor. Bandit, why don't you go ahead and read off some of the changes for the Witch Doctor?
Well, looks like we've got a new legendary belt, the Haunted Girdle. Haunt releases 1 extra spirit. Is that something that you would use with the Jade Harvest?
It's possible, yes, and there's some combinations that I've got with some things that I'm excited about there, and I'll probably be discussing those in some future videos as well.
Okay, and then we've got the offhand, the Homunculus. Time to summon a zombie dog to your side is reduced from 4 to 6 seconds to 2 seconds. So that's quite a reduction there, and it's now going to roll with 20 to 25% sacrifice damage as a 5th primary affix. So that'll be good for your zombie dog sacrifice build. And the little man's finger, I guess this is the opposite of the tall man's finger. This is the first time I'm seeing this. A new legendary ring. Gargantuan instead summons 3 smaller gargantuans, each more powerful than the original. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I do have a tall man's finger now. Really cool looking ring too, so I'm anxious to see how this one will look. And then for our Jade Harvester build, 2-piece set bonus. When Haunt lands on an enemy already affected by Haunt, it instantly deals 10 seconds worth of Haunt damage.
Gives you a reason not to just cast and run in a circle and then go in and blow things up and then run in a circle, right?
Yeah, and then
Makes it a little more active.
And then we've got, for 4 pieces, the Soul Harvest gains the effect of every rune.
That's huge. That's one of the big changes I think that's underrated, because there's so many runes on a Soul Harvest that really, I mean, it's like a permanent buff to your Witch Doctor. I'm loving that one quite a bit.
And then for our 6-piece for your Jade Harvester, amount of damage over time detonated increased from 30 to 40 seconds. So I imagine that means that we're going to be getting the... I don't know how that works exactly, if you want to...
It's... When you use Soul Harvest with that 6-piece set, that's actually not stated, that amount of DOT time detonated. It's not stated in the set bonus. It's just what it actually physically does. It only takes 30 seconds off right now for that damage, because of the Creeping Death passive makes it instant, or doubles it. So you're gonna see bigger numbers now with that 30 to 40 second. You're gonna be hitting for a lot harder, on top of having a more active play style.
Yep. The Techlandian Visage, for you folks that run a ZDPS or some type of combination, the Witch Doctor up there, obviously if you have the right gear in place, that Techlandian Visage is probably one of the most overpowered items in the game. Couple that with a Star Medal and you're one hell of a Witch Doctor. You'll actually get a buff indicating the duration of the Horrify effect, as opposed to just running around thinking, all right, do I need to recast this or not? Dave, do you have the notes up?
I don't.
You don't? All right. Well, I'll cover the Zunamasa set, because I'm a big fan of the Pet Witch Doctor. I'm old school. Diablo 2, where I had like 1 billion skeletons, a.k.a. the Lagamancers. You know, they were obviously necromancers back then. Now they're witch doctors. So I like the pet builds. Zunamasa set, your Fetish Army, 2-piece bonus. Your Fetish Army lasts until they die. One thing about this is that I like is that you can almost incorporate this and find a way to incorporate this into your Jade Harvester build, so that you actually now have something of tanks, because it's just a 2-piece bonus. So something to keep an eye on if you're out there and you're a fan and you wanted to get an idea on what the Jade Harvester build is like, but you didn't want to take as much damage. Now you can combine the two and actually have something pretty decent there. 4-piece bonus, you and your pets take 2% reduced damage for every fetish you have alive. That's great, more for your pets than it is for you, but obviously the benefit to you is also nice. Here's one that I think most people will probably like, this is the most obvious change you could possibly make. When you're playing a Witch Doctor, and all you cast is Reign of Toads because it has a high proc rate to be able to spawn a Fetish Sycophant, you have no need or no use for casting any type of mana spender, because it's not worth it. You run the passive to where you do more damage but things cost more mana, but if you don't spend more mana, you're naturally doing more damage no matter what. So this actually says enemies hit by your mana spenders currently take 275% more damage from your pets for 4 seconds. So it actually makes sense as a Witch Doctor who uses mana to actually cast a mana spender. This is one of those things to where it's been needing to be fixed for a long time, and they finally did that, so that's pretty neat. The Zunamasa offhand, this is another one of those items to where it wants you to use the full set, or at least the main pieces of the set. Now rolls 20 to 25% fetish damage. Fetish Army damage as a 5th primary affix, so that's a nice thing to have there. And then this one is also another neat one, which I had tried messing with it on a Jade build, or even just one in general. There's a new belt, it's the Belt of Transcendence, and so whenever you actually hit somebody with a mana spender, you summon a Fetish Sycophant, so that actually allows you to get rid of that passive and actually come up with something different, have a little bit more diversity for the Witch Doctors. That's one thing I'm definitely excited about. There's a lot going on with the Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor is super powerful now. They're actually hitting greater rifts up around the 50 range on the PTR, And I have a feeling that's only going to go even higher, really making use out of your pets. Something I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, they're definitely pushing the pet build this patch for them. And, I mean, like you said, they're hitting the 50s. I mean, as a pet witch doctor before, I mean, you're lucky to hit 40.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there was just not enough survivability and not enough damage output.
And it's...
Go ahead.
The Zunamasa, too, it's a good build to use if you don't have the SMK, so you can keep your fetish army around a little bit longer, because with the SMK, you know, you're getting it coming around more often with the legendary fix that has. So for those of you who aren't using the SMK, the Zunamasa's pet build is definitely a way to go.
That would be me.
Well, I mean, it might also be good to use it with it, too, because, you know, the Big Bad Voodoo is also part of that legendary affix.
Right.
But the fact that, you know, that 275%, you know, damage and the damage reduction is huge. That's, you know, it's huge. But we'll see. We'll see what comes out.
Now, this is one, Dave, this is probably your number one change. This is my number one change. I love the Wizard. I do. I love playing the Wizard, but my God, I hated playing with the Firebirds every single day of my life. I tried so hard to come up with different builds. But they changed the Talrasha set. The Firebird set is now going to take a back seat, and they actually came out with a new set for the Wizard. Dave, do you want me to cover these notes, or do you want to get excited and tell us what's going on?
You may cover the notes.
I'll cover the notes, and then I'm bringing Dave into this. This is Dave saying the Wizard, man. Like, we've spent a lot of times discussing the Wizard for many, many months, and I guess it's just lack of diversity. They went from lack of diversity to full-blown, like, this is one of the most diverse classes possible in terms of, like, hey, we're going to let you use all kinds of skills and still do a ton of damage. Now, first, I'm going to cover the Firebird set really quickly. It's no longer good. Okay, moving on. The Talrasha, it's still good. Don't quote me on there. It's still a good set. You're still going to have plenty of fun with it. So if you farmed up the Firebird set over the last, if you're fairly new and you just got it, it's still going to be good. Don't worry about it. The Talrasha set, this is one that's exciting. The Talrasha set's actually been around for quite some time, but they added some pieces and turned it into a 6-piece bonus. Now, the Talrasha set goes back many, many years. Old school Diablo 2 used to be all purple. Nathan knows what I'm talking about. It used to be all purple, shine with a nice glow around you and everything. Yeah. I remember farming for that many times. Talrasha has lived with us for quite a while, even after you murdered him in Diablo 2.
You didn't kill Talrasha in Diablo.
Say what?
You never killed Talrasha in Diablo 2.
He was dead there. He was entombed, right?
Yeah, you're in Talrasha's tomb, okay. But that was Duriel you killed. It
was Duriel, but I always felt like I was killing everybody along. Talrasha was entombed there.
Yeah, because he imprisoned Vale back when they first came into the world.
My mistake. It's been a few years. Talrasha's tomb, I remember spending many hours there. The Talrasha, it's got new pieces, gloves and legs. And now damaging enemies with arcane cold fire or lightning will cause a meteor of the same type to fall from the sky. That's awesome. That can happen every 8 seconds. And so you rain down meteors left and right. This thing is a sight to see. It's beautiful. Now uses the Molten Impact rune when triggered by fire damage. That's a huge damage buff there. And can no longer be triggered by hitting a destructible object. That's actually good, because if you accidentally destroyed something off to the side, it would cast a meteor down, and then you'd have to wait another 8 seconds. A bad guy would show up, and you're sitting there like, wait a minute. Like,
which in some levels that can happen quite a bit.
Yeah, on some levels it most certainly can. 4-piece bonus. Attacks increase your resistance to that element by 100% for 6 seconds. Huge buff there, and it keeps getting better because attacks increase your damage by currently 150% for 6 seconds. Arcane Cold Fire and Lightning attacks each add 1 stack, maximum of 4. Adding a stack refreshes the duration. So this actually pushes you to say, hey, I'm going to use a lightning skill, I'm going to use a fire skill, I'm going to use an arcane skill, and I'm going to use a cold skill. And then you're raining down meteors of all type. You're doing damage of all type, and you're proccing all of this. Dave, what do you think of the Talrasha sets, and what are you looking forward to there?
Just getting away from the Firebird set's going to be nice, but farming up those other pieces and just changing up the set from Fire to having each one of them out there, that's going to be huge right there.
I honestly, I've been messing with this on the PTR quite a bit, And it's not only just the Tal Rasha set. We're not even done with the Wizard yet, but
For the Delta Ray set.
the Delza Rays set is something to get excited about. Yeah. But the Tal Rasha set is definitely good. Just a quick note for those of you that do have the current offhand, it will be retroactive, but they're going to be rolling a new one to where it has Meteor as a 5th primary affix. But we're just getting started on the Wizard, the Delza Rays set. Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, and Shock Pulse are all making their way to the forefront with this new set. The 2-piece bonus, when you use those, it's going to reduce the cooldown of your slow time by 2 seconds. The 4-piece bonus, enemies affected by your slow time take 2,000% weapon damage every second. The damage type that you use will be determined by the highest elemental damage that you have equipped on your character. And the 6-piece bonus, enemies affected by your slow time, and this is huge, take 750% more damage from your Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, and Shock Pulse. So that allows great synergy in that if you use those skills, it's going to refresh the cooldown, and if you use slow time, it's going to boost the damage of those things up pretty significantly. The Delza Rays set is amazing because you can also combine this with some other things. One thing that I wanted to touch on with the Tal Rasha set, there's some new boots that are being added into the game. The Nilfur's Boast, and they're boots that increase the damage of Meteor by 100%, and it increases the damage of Meteor by 150 to 200% when it hits 3 enemies or less, so you actually have a higher single target damage. But the Delza Rays set can also be coupled with a new Season 3 set of bracers to where Energy Twister periodically pulls in enemies within 30 yards. So casting that along with the Delza Rays set is pretty exciting. Dave, I don't know if you had much time to mess with this on the PTR. Did you have a chance to work with it or no?
I know you got farmed it up, but I didn't have a chance to.
You missed out on the buff, right? And that's why you couldn't
get
on there?
Rasha pieces, but I didn't get any of those pieces at all.
Yeah, that really sucks.
It's a rock thing.
I think that once this actually goes live, that you're really going to enjoy that.
First one I want to try out, once I get the gear, of course.
Once you get the gear. Are you planning on playing Seasons or no?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to benefit from the bracers. The bracers really make this thing shine when you throw that Energy Twister inside of the slow time orb, and then you can just rain down inside of it. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so many different things you can try out with that. With the options of skills, too.
The options of skills, yeah. I mean, I'm still missing other things. There's a new Wizard hat. Slow time gains the effect of every rune. So, you can farm that. I mean, they're literally they're saying, Wizard, here's everything. You can do whatever you want now. Please, forgive us for giving you Firebirds.
It'll be over first, but.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. And so that's going to go over pretty well. And lastly, we have the Triumvirate, which is boosting up the damage of Arcane Orb by 75 to 100% for 6 seconds right now, stacking up to 3 times. So that'll go hand in hand with your new Delza Rays set as well. A few other small changes. If we didn't cover them already, Adventure Mode has some new bounties, new levels in your Nephilim Rifts. When you go to craft gems now, you no longer have to sit there, queue up 50, walk away, come back 5 minutes later. They'll actually be done instantly. Yeah, that is very nice. There's been several times where I go to craft and walk away and actually forget to come back.
Watch a YouTube video, maybe?
That's right. Other changes to some of the Rift Guardian bosses and other stuff going on. Some of the monsters in-game as well are really going to have some nice changes. So there's a lot to get excited about with patch 2.2.0 and probably a lot more to look forward to. Some patch 2.3 notes actually got leaked. How accurate they are, we don't know. But it is something to definitely look forward to, especially new sets for some of the classes and some revamps as well. But that pretty much wraps up the 2.2 notes. As far as what we are going to see, I think we've still got some stuff to look forward to, some few minor tweaks the minute everything goes live. So closing thoughts on all that you're going to look at, any of the sets, any of the gear. What are you looking forward to again, Nathan? What are your final thoughts on this?
Just the fact that they realize we need diversity within the class, each thing. playing one type of character or one type of set per character just gets old. But I'm especially excited for the barbarian.
Yep. Dave, any thoughts other than I know that we're all excited for Firebird's gone. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean,
my Firebird set makes me happy. Not right away, of course, but after some intense farming.
And ladies, we now know that it doesn't take a lot to make Dave happy. So if you're looking for a man,
he's your guy.
that out.
Yes.
Yes.
Right there. Yes.
Thanks, Jay.
Poor Dave.
Bandit, closing thoughts.
Well, one thing I've always liked about Blizzard since I've started playing Diablo, because I used to just be like a console player. Oh, don't make me laugh, man. I was always a console player, and they always have a lot of DLCs and things for that. And Blizzard, they just always seem to keep everything fresh, and if you buy the game once, you're good to go. And they are always rolling out new updates and things like that in the patches. And that's what I really like about Blizzard. And this is probably the biggest patch, I think, probably since, 2.0, when they added the greater rifts, or the rifts.
Whoa, time out. I'd like to just make a correction. It's actually the biggest patch that they made since Bandit started playing.
All right. Well, yeah, because I think I started around 2.0 back in the day, so... But
if you guys
happy.
Think that's a coincidence, it is not. There's a reason the game got so much better. Bandit started playing.
That's right. They wanted to do it for me.
Yeah, but get your friends to play too. I mean, more people play, the better. It's a good time to be excited to come into Diablo with all this stuff going on.
Spread
I don't know. Do they still have the sale going on? I don't know. But either way, now's the perfect time. If you've been away from Diablo for a while, and hell, you've made it through this video, then I am giving 2.2 the official Roundtable stamp of approval, because I think across the board, no matter who you're talking to, whoosh, this is an amazing patch. It's something to get excited about, people. Hopefully you're excited, and if you're coming back, then you're really going to enjoy it. If you've been around, you'll probably stick around a lot longer, because this is pretty exciting. So that's it. That's the first Roundtable discussion. Look forward to more, probably ones that aren't quite so long, but we had quite a bit to cover here. Patch 2.2 is huge. There's a lot of changes going on, a lot to get excited about. So we had to cover quite a bit. I'd like to thank Nathan, Dave, and Bandit for joining me for the premiere. And I look forward to meeting many more of you. And like I said, if you haven't already and you want to be a part of one of these in the future, just simply message me on YouTube. I've got a video over there explaining how to get involved. So definitely just get involved. If you want to be a part of this, you can take one of these guys' places and have lots of fun. And we're going to be talking about all things Diablo. Dave apparently doesn't want to. So we're going to be doing a lot more. And hopefully you guys will join me for that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bandit, send us out.
Well, as always, y'all stay beastin'. Peace out. And
bye-bye now.
I quit. Bandit, are you recording?
I am.
Good.
What happened?
Good. I'm not recording inbound sound right now.
Oh, are you kidding? Well, I've got everything, man. If you need me to run
I'm
by,
terrible at this. You would think that I've made like 100 videos or something.
Oh. Is it over?
You gonna go to bed now, Dave?
I must eat.